Hello, this is Joe83, and this is episode 5 of the My Team Lotus career mode on F1 2020 here, and you can see on the activities this week, we're going to be attending F1 Esports, which some of us don't need a game to go and do, but anyway, we're putting that in for the bit of a claim bonus, and yeah, straight into another new circuit, the second time in 3 races, at Zandvoort, which is a circuit I found myself enjoying quite a lot when I was practicing. And yeah, it's very undulating. I really do enjoy driving it, although I'm not very quick at it yet. So it might be quite a tough weekend. Another thing that's going to be tough about it is it's quite dependent on how good the car is. You find, I noticed that like a lot of time the cars are just in order of pace, where the driver can't really make much difference because it's such a technical circuit. But anyway, we'll have to do our best to try and make the best of it. And through the practice programs now, you can see just about scraping a purple score on the tyre where their track acclimatization was fairly straightforward. And yeah, we got points in the last 2 races actually. In China we got 8th, and in Vietnam we also got 8th place. So potentially a few more could be on the cards here, but we'll have to wait and see what happens later in the race. I actually failed the race strategy, which wasn't too good because that's usually quite a easy one. But yeah, 3 red times in a row. We only got 30 for that, only the green score. But into qualifying now, the rest of the practice programs I completely got nowhere near doing. So unfortunately not the best practice for us there. The first lap in qualifying and coming around the banking section onto the start-finish straight, it's not been a fantastic lap. He's got Vettel right in front, which might be giving me a little bit of dirty air, but probably not too badly. He does a 109. I'm going to do a 112.6, which is actually slower than Delatras at the minute, 1.4 seconds off Giovinazzi. So yeah, not good at all. I'm actually last place in the banker runs, but yeah, 2.5 minutes left now, and we've got one more lap to attempt to improve on that. And through turn 1, nicely getting it slowed down there. This corner was really tough, trying to lift off in 6th gear, downshifting, and then trying not to lock up. But on that occasion, we just about do. But we're still almost 3/10 up the hill. It's all obviously flat out down towards, I think it's turn 6, this next corner, which is very, very hard because in the Mercedes in time trial it was almost flat out. In this car you've obviously got to have a big lift because it's nowhere near the performance of the fastest, and taking a lot of curb there and through this section, trying to get it nicely slowed down. 3rd gear, slight lock up on the front right, but we're 6 up now, and I'm going down onto the DRS straight, try and keep it as nicely to left as possible. We missed the apex quite badly there, but got an okay exit, and we're 1.2 seconds up. So the first lap, yeah, as you can tell, was pretty dreadful. And now into the P section of the track, because that's what it looks like on the map. 3rd gear, 2nd gear down into the next few corners, past the Verstappen grandstand, although that doesn't really narrow down which grandstand is which here, obviously. And now through the banking, 4th gear could take a bit more speed through there, but round the final corner, fully flat out, into hot lap mode, or we've been at all lap, and DRS open. It's going to be a 1.3 second improvement up to a low 11, but it's not good enough to get out of Q1 with 2 tenths off Grosjean as it stands. But by the end of the session, I think it was slightly lower than that. And yeah, down to 20th place. We actually got out qualified by George Russell by 9 thousandths, but you can just see we were 3 tenths off of the next car of Grosjean, but still out qualified Delatraz and Latifi, and we're 3rd last on the grid, which is, yeah, a bit of a shame. But we're actually 19th on the grid because someone had a grid penalty, and the team recommended hard to soft, which is exactly what I went for. Just tried something a bit different and seeing how it goes. Putting a lot of fuel on board and getting on now to 5 red lights for the Zandvoort Grand Prix from the Netherlands. And it's a very long hold, but we are away eventually off the grid, and that's an extremely long hold for the lights, but Russell gets a good start alongside me. Giovinazzi bogs down a little bit from the row in front. We're in the situation of Grosjean now, trying to look to the outside of Grosjean, round the outside of turn 1, down into 3rd gear, trying to keep it clean. Raikkonen there going a bit slowly, might be thinking about the outside of him as well, but not quite. We have got Ram Magnussen though, up into 15th place, up 4 places in turn 1, which is a very good start. Getting a load of oversteer though, obviously heavy fuel. I've not done this track yet, and the cold tyres on the hards, whereas everyone else is getting on the softs, which is going to help them switch them on pretty quickly compared to myself. But in 15th place now, we've got a good chance of making a bit more progress. Magnussen's already trying to take that fit place away from me, running outside of the high-speed right-hander, but not quite. And through this section here, this first lap's going to be very challenging with the low grip tyres and the very slidey car still, not very upgraded Lotus in my team. It's pretty poor still, and you can see that here as we got a massive slide on, just about holding it. That's going to lose us loads of time though to Raikkonen, and Magnussen's going to have a chance. The 2 Scandinavians in a sandwich at the minute, and just about holding off Magnussen down towards the next section. He's not close enough, and a lap later onto lap 2 through the same section where we slid last time. Not quite as bad this time, but this time Grosjean is actually the car behind me, and we're getting a slide on the exit as well, and Grosjean is going to have a great run down towards the P section of the track, and Magnussen is too far back, but Grosjean has managed to overtake him. He's now challenging me, but not quite. And we've held him off for 15th place, but you can already see the gap emerging. 2 seconds now to Raikkonen. Obviously the soft tyres are going to help them out, but obviously also the car pace was really not there at the first few laps of this race, and the hard tyres of course didn't help. But yeah, hopping over that curb quite a lot there probably could have done some damage if this was real life. But luckily it's just a video game. So yeah, we're still ahead of Grosjean for the time being, but not for much longer if we keep doing that at that corner. I was really struggling there for traction. And Giovinazzi's also going to try up the inside, but he actually hits me a little bit there, doesn't spin out or anything. But Grosjean's taking that place, and he's probably going to bolt off into the distance now, as the Haas is still a fundamentally faster car than this Lotus, and I'm not confident at this track yet. It's a very fun track to drive, but I'm not great at it. So let's have a quick look at a replay to start, see how I got on. But the two Mercedes on the front row once again, with two Ferraris and the two Red Bulls in order as usual. I started extremely far back in 19th place, but you can see the gap sort of just emerged on the right-hand side of a screen, and we just ran the outside of both Haas cars actually, and Giovinazzi and Russell obviously before turn 1 as well. We just got a better start than those people. So yeah, up ahead of Magnussen, and you can see the oversteer was pretty tragic, but we didn't actually get to see it there. But coming onto the next corner again, I'm going extremely wide, almost going to get almost a karting line there, but Giovinazzi's actually spun off my back end there. It was, yeah, I don't quite know what went on. I just took a wide line to try and get a good exit, and Giovinazzi thought he saw an opportunity, but unfortunately he's now spun out. Well, not unfortunately for me, because I've got 3 seconds back to Magnussen now, but yeah, unfortunately for him, the race didn't go too well from there on. But lap 11 now, you can just see the gaps are massive to the cars in front. Perez is there, who was on the cusp of the points, like in the train, and he's only just behind me, having made his pit stop already. And we're behind Ricciardo and Sainz already, who've pit. And obviously it's a one-stop race, so unless there's some craziness happening, I don't think points are going to be on the cards really. As yeah, we're so far back already. It feels like the car pace just wasn't there. I don't know if it was my own performance, because obviously I'm still ahead of Delatraz, but he's not a fantastic yardstick, because he's not a very good driver in this game, unfortunately. And yeah, but I was still outpacing him, but potentially just the car pace really let us down this race. And Perez going down the outside there, not really much point fighting, as we're on completely different strategies. I've still got a stop to do, although I'm going extremely far into the race, so maybe it was worth fighting, but who really knows. But now we've got Lando Norris and Lance Stroll behind me. The same section once again. We got a good run through there this time, but we'll go wide again. Norris can stick his nose in up the inside, doesn't crash into me though, like Giovinazzi did. I'm over the curves on exit, and Norris is going to go down the outside, but I've got overtake mode, sending it into the P section of the track, taking that inside curve, but Norris is going to hold it, it looks like. We're still going to be side by side on exit, down towards the banking section, but Norris has got a good exit there and taken that 11th place away. But of course, this is not for net position at all. I am 12th, but still got a pit stop to make. Lap 16 now, a few laps later, and Stroll is the next car in the train behind me. And we're getting a massive moment again, almost losing it into the wall on the banking section over the curves there. Stroll's going to pick up that position very easily down towards turn 1. Although we're thinking about using a bit of overtake mode and maybe fighting back, but not much point. As I was saying before, Stroll going to hold that inside line. And then you can see Raikkonen and Ocon, who we were right behind at the start of the race, are now all over me for 13th place, and I haven't pit yet. I don't think the strategy is very good, because obviously being on hards from the start and then softs right at the end, you only really get the benefit. You're only on better tyres for like 10 laps at the end of the race, so for the rest of the race I'm either getting undercut loads or just outpaced at the start. So yeah, really poor strategy, but the team recommended it. I didn't think much of it at the time, but yeah, maybe another strategy would have been better off. Raikkonen's going to go for the same move as his teammate this time, but he actually gets ahead and like barges me out of the way, gets his shoulders out there. But fair enough move from the Finn, and that's going to allow Ocon to start pressuring me as well, but he's not close enough into this corner. He's going to have to wait a little bit longer, and Raikkonen will be able to get away in his Alfa Romeo down towards the banking section. And yeah, a lap later actually, we're holding on to the back of Raikkonen. Obviously the car pace of the Alfa Romeo is not brilliant compared to that of the Racing Point or the McLaren, but we're all over the place on exit. Ocon's going to easily take that position. Once again, really struggling in that traction zone. I don't quite know what's going on, but it's just, yeah, not a great race this for me, really. And Ocon down the inside of that straight and takes that position very easily into 14th. You can see Grosjean's only 7 seconds behind, who we were battling right at the start. And Delatraz only 13 behind, actually. So I'm going to come out behind him when I pit, which is right now into the pits on lap 23. Got 13 laps to do on the softs. Delatraz actually did the same strategy as me, so he's on the hards from the start as well. So he is yet to pit too, which just sort of shows how slow this car is. Grosjean's gone past and is already off into the distance. And here comes Delatraz on the mini-map in the other Lotus, and he's going to be ahead of me, but not by much actually. So I've still managed to get a pit stop over my teammate. I've also managed to get a warning for crossing the white line, but we'll ignore that and move on. But yeah, so Delatraz is the next car in my sights to overtake, the only car in my sights at the minute. Grosjean's 80 seconds clear, so we might have the pace to catch on him, but I'm not too sure. But Delatraz is going to do quite easy pickings, really. He does go defensive, to be fair to him, but obviously overtake mode, rich mix, DRS, not much he can do, as well as the soft tyres. We slowed down for turn 1 nicely, and he's going to peel into the pits at the end of that lap to leave me in absolute no man's land because there's 7.5 seconds to Grosjean and 2.5 seconds to Gasly back, and Hamilton actually is only just at turn 1 now, so we're close to getting lapped. And yeah, a couple hours later, that did indeed happen. As you can see, blue flags now for Valtteri Bottas. Actually, it's Lewis Hamilton, sorry. It is Bottas who's leading the race, surprisingly, despite Hamilton getting the purple lap a second ago. You can see I took a weird line there because I got blue flags, and I've got DRS on Bottas. I've obviously got the soft tyres, so I don't think my pace was too bad. Hamilton isn't really close enough to go through a challenge there. Bottas also made a mistake on the exit curb there, so I'm close enough to stay with him, and I don't think I'm holding up Hamilton. You can probably see where this is going, to be honest. But yeah, down the start-finish straight, we're using overtake mode rich mix, so I'm definitely pulling away from Hamilton. Obviously, we can't see the time deltas because I'm a lap down. But down towards turn 1, Hamilton must be at least a second back, probably maybe slightly less than that, but gone wide in turn 1 there, which I'm obviously not happy with, and Hamilton is going to quite easily take that place. I'm going to go wide into turn 3 here and let him through there with the blue flags. But unfortunately, as I was letting him through, the FIA decided I'd taken way too long and given me a penalty for ignoring blue flags, which, looking back on it, might be fair enough. If I was Hamilton, I would be annoyed, but now Latifi's out of the race and there's a safety car deployed, which is going to absolutely screw me because I've been lapped, and the game doesn't allow you to unlap yourself. Here you go, we've caught up to Hamilton and Bottas again, with Gasly right behind me and then Leclerc, so it's just an absolute mess of lapped cars because the safety car was so late into the race. And yeah, in real life, he would have been waved through, and it would have really helped because I've been on the back of the pack with fresh tyres. But yeah, unfortunately, I'm 3rd in the train, but a lap down, so I'm actually 16th. And I'm now 1 minute and 10 seconds behind Grosjean. But we're going to try and challenge Hamilton on the restart here, just for a bit of fun, really. And yeah, overtake mode, rich mix, down the outside of Lewis Hamilton. But I'm getting blue flags again straight away, despite me not being that slow. We're going to try and run the outside of Hamilton, but not quite. Got a bit of oversteer on those cold tyres. And now we're going to allow Leclerc through on the right-hand side. Is he going to go through? I don't actually know. There he goes into 3rd place. And we have Verstappen. Vettel. No, it's Verstappen behind me. So I'm going to let him through as well, as we don't want to anger the Dutch fans too much. And yeah, this blue flag, it just is constantly there. So you've got to let everyone through at once. It's not like real life. So later in the lap, I just decided to pull off to the side and let absolutely everyone through, including Danny Kvyat, who I think I would have the pace over at this point. And now Louis Delatraz is the next car behind me. So yeah, I've lost about 6 seconds to him in that by braking there. And we've now been lapsed down to 11th place. And here we go, Stroll. And I've got to let him through as well because the blue flag is still there. I don't want to get another penalty. And we've now been lapped by literally everyone. So yeah, I'm 16th. Grosjean's 15th, but there's a lap between us. So that's absolutely fantastic. Yeah, not much hope in this race. And then a lap later, lap 35, which actually is the last lap, of course. Valtteri Bottas has won. And I'm only half a second ahead of Delatraz and 3 seconds ahead of Magnussen with a 5-second penalty. So it's going to be, I don't know where it's going to be actually, because there could be more cars behind. But that's the end of the race. Absolute farce, that race. I just had no pace at all. The car was pretty trash. We're going to be brutally honest with ourselves. And yeah, not a good race in the slightest. And it allowed me to keep 16th because I think when everyone's lapped, it sort of messes up the timings a bit. So despite that penalty, I stayed in 16th place. Very kind from the FIA there. Still beat my teammate. Got a 100% record over him this season because he's a bit of a fraud, really. Let's have a look at standings. Obviously, first time since Bahrain that we failed to score points. It's also my worst result of the season in terms of finishing position. Sainz has gone ahead of me on countback. We're still 13th place. Delatraz, of course, on 0. And in the constructors, we're still in 8th place, which isn't too bad, really. Obviously, it's going to be quite a difficult challenge to catch up to Renault and the rest of those ahead without a lot of upgrades coming onto the car, which hopefully will come pretty soon. But yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more. This has been J183, and I'll see you next time.